Hey, ¿qué tal amigos? ¿Cómo están? Bienvenidos a todos ustedes. Saben que muchas personas están instándole a Ron DeSantis que no permita que este caso lo maneje únicamente las agencias gubernamentales federales y el FBI por el resultado de los acontecimientos que se desarrolló el pasado 13 de julio en Bethel, Pensilvania, donde entregaron el cuerpo de Thomas Matthew Crooks 10 días después y fue cremado, donde no se hizo una investigación posterior por parte de un legislador republicano, Clay Higgins, que quería examinar el cuerpo de Thomas Matthew Crooks después de lo sucedido para saber si tenía algo toxicológico o cualquier información que él podía recopilar para básicamente ayudar en el caso. Entonces, muchas personas le están instando al gobernador que crea un panel independiente para poder investigar lo que sucedió el pasado domingo 15 de septiembre. Miren esto. Ron DeSantis dice lo siguiente: no es lo mejor para nuestro estado ni para nuestra nación que las mismas agencias federales que buscan procesar a Donald Trump estén liderando esta investigación. Excelente. Ron DeSantis está diciendo, no es confiable, no es lo mejor dejarle este caso a las mismas personas que están intentando procesar a Donald Trump en Nueva York, liderado por el Departamento de Justicia. Es decir, no se puede dejar que este caso lo investigue el mismo Departamento de Justicia que está liderando un caso en Nueva York, junto con Alvin Bragg, junto con Juan Merchan, junto con Letitia James, para enjuiciar a Donald Trump con este caso falso del hush money. Escuchen esto.
In my judgment, it's not in the best interest of our state or our nation of the
Para mí, el mejor interés para la nación y para nuestro estado
same federal agencies that are seeking to prosecute Donald
es que las agencias federales están buscando perseguir a Donald Trump y enjuiciarlo.
Trump, leading this investigation,
Así que estas mismas agencias están dispuestas a liderar la investigación,
especially when the most serious, straightforward offense constitutes a violation of state law, but not federal law. In addition to holding the suspect accountable, the public deserves to know the truth about how this assassination came to be.
Así que para mí el pueblo estadounidense tiene que saber cómo comenzó este intento de magnicidio contra el expresidente Trump de máxima transparencia. Ron DeSantis dice que Florida se va a hacer cargo del segundo intento de magnicidio de Donald Trump porque el FBI es claramente incompetente y parcial, señores. ¿De verdad creemos que estas agencias son las mejores para hacer esta investigación? No lo creo. No lo creo en este momento. Sí, amigos, Ron DeSantis ha asignado el caso del intento de magnicidio al fiscal general Ashley Moody y promete una transparencia total para todos ustedes. Para todos ustedes. Ahora bien, resulta que el legislador y Navy SEALs, Eli Crane, tuvo una entrevista con Benny Johnson y él concluye que la evidencia sugiere que hay un posible topo del servicio secreto después del segundo intento de magnicidio. Él dice, cuidado con los vigilantes. Existe una posibilidad muy real de que haya aparentemente un topo en el servicio secreto. Escuchen esto.
Point number 2 is this. The president, my advice to the president is to bolster your private security.
Mi consejo para el presidente es que busque su propia compañía de seguridad privada
around you, not only to fill holes in the gaps that the Secret Service continues to leave open, but also to watch the watchers.
Él dice, presidente, le sugiero que mire a los observadores y a las personas que están con usted.
There is a very real possibility at this point that there is a mole within the Secret Service team.
Hay muchas posibilidades que hay un topo dentro del equipo de Donald Trump.
Surrounding the president or at the highest levels of the Secret Service.
O en algunos niveles altos del servicio secreto.
And so he does need somebody, you know, a group of individuals around him that are loyal to him and are not politicized, They're not worried about seeking promotion, and they don't answer to people that hate the president. And so, that would be my advice to the president at this point.
Así que este legislador y ex Navy SEALs le dice al presidente Donald Trump que examine a todos los agentes que lo están protegiendo en este preciso instante. Ahora bien, te voy a mostrar a continuación las declaraciones de Ron DeSantis, que no va a permitir que estas agencias federales lideren la investigación únicamente por ellos, porque, señores, puede haber un sesgo, así como hicieron el pasado 13 de julio. Escuchen esto.
By Broward County. Also, the state of Florida has jurisdiction over the most serious, straightforward offense, which is attempted murder. I've directed state agencies to move expeditiously and to provide full transparency to the public. In my judgment, it's not in the best interest of our state or our nation to have the same federal agencies that are seeking to prosecute Donald Trump leading this investigation, especially when the most serious, straightforward offense constitutes a violation of state law, but not federal law. In addition to holding the suspect accountable, the public deserves to know the truth about how this assassination came to be. And I've directed all state agencies to work expeditiously to be able to uncover the truth in addition to holding this suspect accountable. We are going to hear from some folks that will be involved in this, starting with our Attorney General, Ashley Moody.
Ok, escúchenme algo. La persona que van a escuchar a continuación es la fiscal general de Florida, a la cual Ron DeSantis dice que confíen en ella porque va a hacer esta investigación de manera rápida y transparente para todos ustedes de lo que sucedió el pasado 15 de septiembre. Escuchen.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you for all who are joining us today. I'm Ashley Moody. I'm the Attorney General of the great state of Florida. Really proud, as always, to stand with a leader like Governor DeSantis, who always appears to meet the moment, whatever that may be, whatever challenge may be upon us. And he's certainly not one to sit on his hands. And today is another demonstration of that incredible leadership characteristic. I think America right now and Florida citizens are very hungry for leadership. This is unprecedented to have this much focus on a presidential nominee with the type of rhetoric and threats coming out of the mouths of so many people. And I will just say, it was really disappointing to hear the president say that President Trump should be put in a bullseye just days before we saw the first assassination attempt, and then weeks later at the DNC say that that threat was still very much alive, and now again, in under 30 days, another assassination attempt. And so what I think people are hungry for is leadership. They don't want somebody to come out and say, Secret Service needs to tell us what they need and Congress should do something about it. It may very well be that more resources need to be dedicated to Secret Service. But leadership is about strategy. It's about implementing a plan. It's about determining where your gaps are, your deficiencies, and filling those in. I mean, look no further than our governor when we were hit by a major catastrophe like Ian, a hurricane, and he didn't say, somebody give them money. And he didn't say, you do this. He built a bridge in 3 days. He got it done. I told him that's what he should have ran on when he ran for re-election. That was it. The motto should have been a bridge in 3 days. And so what we need is the president to acknowledge that these agencies, not just Secret Service, but DHS, in which it is housed, are under his purview. That is what the people elected him to be. Our commander-in-chief and the head of an executive branch which is made up of agencies. And that means when something happens and goes wrong, you are in the details and you are formulating a plan, and it may not always be just about money. It's about leadership. And right now, the American people need to know we're on this. Sometimes states have the ability and the jurisdiction to bring charges and go after maximum penalties that maybe the federal government does not. And that doesn't mean it's a turf war. Somebody asked me about that before. It is very common for state investigators, state prosecutors to work with our federal prosecutors and federal agents on dual tracks with different purposes. And we may have different charges here, and that's why with Governor DeSantis' leadership, I am proud that Florida Department of Law Enforcement and the Florida Highway Patrol will be looking into and investigating what happened when something went terribly wrong, when someone was allowed to remain on the periphery of a golf course in a tree line for 12 hours and get within 500 feet of the President of the United States.
Totalmente. La fiscal dice, vamos a investigar de manera profunda cómo este tipo estuvo entre los árboles, entre los arbustos por 12 horas y acercarse a 500 pies del presidente de los Estados Unidos, del candidato presidencial de los Estados Unidos republicano y un expresidente. Sí, señores. Eso es lo que se va a investigar. ¿Cómo es posible que no se detectó a este sujeto cuando estaba allí por más de 12 horas? Es como que si tú estaciones tu vehículo cerca de la Casa Blanca por 12 horas. Tenlo por seguro que ni en una hora, estando estacionado, ya te están tocando la puerta que qué está pasando contigo, porque estás estacionado allí. Ustedes sabrán lo que son 12 horas y sin ser detectados, y sin ser detectado. Es increíble, señores. O sea, aquí de verdad yo pienso que hay algo más que nos está contando, porque, señores, es el segundo intento de magnicidio. ¿Hasta cuándo vamos a esperar? ¿El tercero, el cuarto, el quinto, el sexto, el séptimo, octavo, noveno, el décimo? Increíble, señores.
We also need trust and transparency. And that's why I'm very proud of the state of Florida for stepping up and this governor for stepping up and delivering that to Floridians and the American people. It is awkward, to say the least, to have a prosecutorial agency and an investigatory agency that is bringing charges and seeking to put the victim away for life, being the same agency and prosecutors that are going after the would-be assassin. And so we're happy to make sure that the American people and Floridians feel confident that we're protecting one of our own, that we're investigating this to leave no stone unturned, and that is to protect the life of the once and potentially future President of the United States, Donald Trump. So thank you, Governor DeSantis, for trusting us and our agencies with this important work.
Great. Okay, Mark Glass, FDLE.
Good morning. I'm Mark Glass, the Commissioner for the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. And first, I just want to say, I want to thank Governor DeSantis for his steadfast leadership of this great state. And I also want you to know that within just hours after this heinous attempt on former President Donald Trump, Governor DeSantis took action and directed state law enforcement to find the truth, to hunt for the truth. And that's what we're doing. We're hunting. Florida is a law and order state, and we will not sit idly by while anybody stonewalls information sharing amongst our law enforcement entities. We know that if we want answers, we got to go get them. And our proud law enforcement officers and deputies are out there doing that, and we are happy to do that for this great state. Additionally, Florida law enforcement is very fortunate to have Attorney General Moody and her prosecutors to help us with finding that truth. And her Office of Statewide Prosecution is an essential partner in our quest for justice. Let me be clear on this one. Acts of domestic terrorism, such as attempted assassinations, are unacceptable, and we will not stand for that in Florida. The men and women of Florida law enforcement agencies throughout our great state are working day and night tirelessly to uncover and fight for the truth. The people of Florida deserve answers, and Governor, we will deliver those answers to you. Thank you.
Okay, Palm Beach County's own Commissioner of the Department of Highway Safety Motor Vehicles, Director Dave Kerner.
Thank you, Governor, and it is good to be back in Palm Beach County. Unfortunate circumstances. My name is Dave Kerner, and my capacity as Executive Director, I have operational control of the Florida Highway Patrol, and we take this assignment, Governor, with deep gratitude to be part of this important investigation. As an agency, we're cognizant of the gravity of the now 2 attempts on the life of a former United States President and current nominee for President of the United States of America. Regarding the direction by Governor DeSantis that state troopers participate in state-level criminal investigation into this assassination attempt, there are fundamental questions that must be answered and acted upon. There is at least one person, and perhaps more, that needs to be held accountable to the fullest extent of the law.
Totalmente.
The experience of the Florida Highway Patrol and their Bureau of Criminal Investigations and Intelligence accepts this mission with humility and a very specific promise. That promise recognizes that effective law enforcement is based upon the foundation of interagency and intergovernmental cooperation in the investigation. We go into this investigation with our partners in FDLE and the Sheriff of Palm Beach County and Martin County, candidly, with the promise of the exchange of information on both sides. We make that commitment. However, Governor, our promise is that if the higher-ups in the federal government refuse to provide the light of transparency, then we will fight in the shade. The people of Florida and the United States have a right to be served by a government of candor, honesty, and action, and I'm confident that we will bring you and the people of Florida those answers, no matter the manner in which we uncover them. We will do everything that we can. I know Commissioner Glass and his special agents and our troopers are fully prepared for this mission. Law and order is not merely a concept, it is a way of life that requires constant effort and attention, and our governor has never wavered from that commitment. To the sheriffs of Palm Beach County, Sheriff Bradshaw and Sheriff Snyder of Martin County, we look forward to working in this investigation in a cooperative manner. Thank you very much, Governor.
Okay. I will now hear from Palm Beach County Sheriff Rick Bradshaw.
Thank you, Governor. The governor is entirely correct. We need to prosecute this guy to the fullest extent. I think that's the prosecutor side of you coming out. But we also need to make sure that all of the details that went into planning this were sufficient. And if they weren't, adjust. That's how you get better at what you do. You have to critique and have after-action reports. We work great with FDLE. I know the commissioner. My commitment to him and the governor is to provide all the resources and information that he needs to do his investigation and get this prosecution where it needs to be. And my commitment to the Secret Service, I met with the director yesterday, and my commitment to them was, when you decide the level of security that you need, I will provide all the resources necessary to make that happen. Right now at Mar-a-Lago, it's the highest level that it can be. It's the same level as when he was the president. And I can almost assure you that when he travels or if he goes to play golf again, things will probably change. But my commitment to him is, and I talked to him on the phone about this, I will make sure that my resources are dedicated to the Secret Service to keep him safe. But thank you, Governor, for doing this.
Ok, él está diciendo algo muy importante que quiero señalar, es que dice que si ustedes son de Florida y quieren jugar golf en alguno de los clubs de Donald Trump, las medidas de seguridad se van a intensificar bastante, señores. Muy, pero muy intensificadas las medidas de seguridad para poder entrar en alguno de estos clubs.
I think it's going to be great information, and let's prosecute this guy. I know General Moody will. Let's prosecute this guy and put him away so he doesn't get back out. Thank you.
And apparently the suspect fled in the bushes when the Secret Service was shooting at him, jumped into a car, diligent citizen recorded the plates. They got the word out, and Martin County Sheriff's Department was able to apprehend him very quickly. And so there's a chance that would have never happened. He could have gotten away. So great job from Martin County. And here is the sheriff, Bill Snyder.
Thank you, Governor. How gracious. I'm going to be the shortest speaker up here. I just want to say this and weigh in on behalf of the men and women of law enforcement. Notwithstanding some of the political machinations that will go on, the navel-gazing, the hand-wringing, and all of that, I want to tell you something. The Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office is one of the best sheriff's offices in the state of Florida. Mm-hmm. And Rick Bradshaw is one of the best sheriffs in the state of Florida. I will stake my reputation on it. I will say this and then I will sit down. Cops are the best people in the world. And I would go follow into hell and come back any Palm Beach County Sheriff's deputy that wishes to engage. They have my support 100%. We were honored to find that suspect before he got away. But Governor, I'm here to tell you, there's not a police officer, deputy sheriff, state trooper, Secret Service agent, or FBI agent that wouldn't have done the same exact thing we did. Cops are the best people in the world. God bless you, fellas. God bless you. Thank you, Governor.
Well, thank you, Sheriff. We have a strong interest in the state of Florida of bringing this suspect to justice to the fullest extent of the law. The state of Florida has the appropriate jurisdiction to be able to do that, to be able to bring appropriate charges that will lead to appropriate punishment. And I look forward to the investigation, and I look forward to them moving very quickly to hold this suspect accountable and to provide answers to the people of the state of Florida and to the American people. So thanks to everybody that has stepped up in these days since the attempted assassination occurred, and we will provide whatever resources are needed to be able to ensure that this investigation goes swiftly and that we're able to bring the suspect to justice thoroughly. And with that, I'm happy to take some questions. Yep. Well, I look forward to what this investigation in the state will entail. One thing that I will say is when Donald Trump was president, I played golf with him at Trump International in West Palm Beach, great golf course. And when I played with him there was a lot of security. There was dogs sweeping the holes before and after. There was a big buffer. I don't know how many golf carts were traveling. So there was clearly a lot of security. But the one thing I noticed is that when you get into that fifth hole, jail's on the left, the green is in front, and then South Congress Ave is right beyond that, where the tee box for the sixth hole, and the sixth hole is basically all on that fence line, and then the 7 tee boxes on the fence line. And so just me as playing partner, as a governor, just thinking about it, I was like, that is the soft underbelly from a security perspective. You can't not notice that when you're on that golf course. And so I think there'll be questions to ask. Clearly, the former president has said that he's very grateful for the Secret Service engaging this guy and preempting him from being able to take off a shot. And so,
O sea, escuchen esto, él está diciendo que en el hoyo 5, 6 y 7 hay tantos arbustos y árboles que eran como puntos débiles para el servicio secreto, que es una de las razones de por qué Donald Trump felicitó mucho al servicio secreto, porque específicamente en estos puntos eran puntos débiles de observar más allá de los hoyos. Entonces, básicamente que el servicio secreto hizo un buen trabajo en detectar a este sujeto antes de que accionara el arma, porque eran puntos débiles. Él dice que hay perros que detectan cualquier dispositivo explosivo. Los perros pasan por los hoyos de donde donde va a jugar golf Donald Trump. Hay barridos de mapeo, sea, Donald Trump está en el hoyo 1, entonces ya hay barrido de mapeo en el hoyo 2, 3, 4 y 5. Entonces ya Donald Trump está en el 3, hoyo 3, entonces se va a hacer el barrido de mapeo en el 4, 5, 6, así. Es lo que está explicando Ron DeSantis, de lo que él ha vivido allí.
So we'll see how it was that this guy was able to burrow himself in the bushes for apparently 12 hours, and how that came to happen. And I don't have the answer to that. Perhaps our investigation will be able to do. But as soon as I heard news, there was a little bit confusion. Maybe there was two different people shooting at each other that didn't involve Trump. Then it was like, no, Trump was the intended target. As soon as that was clear, I was like, I know exactly where on that golf course that would have been, because that is really the obvious weak point. Statewide prosecutor, that's correct. The Office of Statewide Prosecutor, under the supervision of Attorney General Moody, that statewide prosecutor has jurisdiction when somebody commits offenses across multiple jurisdictions. And so we know there were offenses. We have probable cause for offenses in Palm Beach and Martin, and we also think maybe Broward. And so all three of those counties are part of three distinct judicial circuits. So the statewide prosecutor does have jurisdiction to do, and that's there. And here's the thing. You have a responsibility in law enforcement and as a prosecutor to hold people accountable to the fullest extent of the law. It would be one thing to hand off to the feds if somehow they had more significant crimes that they could pursue. It doesn't seem that that's the case as of now. Clearly, and the FBI has admitted that this was an attempted assassination, you have that jurisdictional hook at the state level for by far the most serious offense. I think this is an offense that should merit a life in prison. And if we're not going to go to the fullest extent of the law, you're lowering the threshold to which someone in the future may try to do something like this. So I think it's really important for the people of Florida, but also for our country, that we pursue the most serious charges that are on the books to hold this guy accountable. And to say you're going to do a couple gun charges.
Ok, él está diciendo algo muy importante. El periodista le está preguntando qué cargo se le va a aplicar a Ryan Wesley Root. Él dice, mira, vamos a aplicarle, estoy buscando aplicarle los cargos más altos para no permitir que esta persona pueda salir libre y volver a cometer lo que intentó cometer. Porque si le aplicamos cargos menores a este sujeto, entonces dentro de 4 o 5 años, cuando salga libre, en cualquier momento lo va a volver a hacer. Entonces estoy buscando la manera para aplicarle los cargos más altos para que esta persona no salga de nuevo, señores, porque lo va a hacer. Él lo va a intentar de nuevo, señores, si se le aplica un cargo menor. Entonces él dice que está buscando un par de cargos de armas, cualquiera que sea lo posible. Él dice que como el tirador, como esta persona no disparó el arma, entonces los cargos, por así decirlo, no son más graves porque no accionó el arma en contra del expresidente Donald Trump, pero aún así, igual son cargos altos que se le van a aplicar a este sujeto.
That is not going to be sufficient to do it. So they clearly have jurisdiction in the statewide prosecutor. We have a very strong interest in holding this suspect accountable to the fullest extent of the law. And we are in a better position in the state of Florida to be able to provide answers to the public. I think back about what happened in Las Vegas back 6-7 years ago. We never got any answers about that. I think back about what happened in Butler, Pennsylvania. We've not gotten very many answers about that. I think that really erodes public confidence.
Él dice que le doy un voto de confianza a todos ustedes, que confíen en nosotros, porque nosotros sí vamos a dar las investigaciones y los resultados de estas investigaciones. Vale la redundancia. Mira lo que sucedió en Las Vegas, mira lo que sucedió en Butler, Pensilvania, que todavía no se ha dado un caso completo y convincente de por qué Thomas Matthew Cruz intentó accionar esta arma accionó el arma para acabar con la vida del expresidente Donald Trump. Entonces él dice que en el estado de Florida sí se va a hacer la investigación como es.
And I think the Florida agencies working from local on up have an opportunity to do a thorough investigation and then to provide the truth about what's happening or what happened and how this came to be. And people deserve the truth. And so I think that there's two really significant interests, holding him accountable and then delivering the truth about how this could have happened.
Entonces él dice, hay dos cosas, hacer este tipo responsable y luego decir la verdad sobre cómo pudo haber sucedido todo esto, cuáles fueron los motivos exactos.
Well, for a couple reasons. One, the federal government does not have jurisdiction to bring an attempted murder charge. If you look at the federal statute, it applies to current federal officials. Okay, so I'm explaining to you why that's happening, if you let me finish. So they don't have jurisdiction over a case that's not a federal official or is a apparent winner of a presidential election or the formally declared president-elect. So right then and there, we have the ability to pursue potentially life in prison under state law.
Ok, escuchen esto. Miren esto. Él dice,
Winner of a presidential election or the formally declared president-elect. So right then and there, we have the ability to formally declared president-elect. So right then and there, we have the ability to
él dice, tenemos la capacidad de,
pursue potentially life in prison under state law.
él dice, tenemos la capacidad de implementarle una cadena perpetua según la ley estatal de Florida.
That's a huge reason why we should move forward at the state level.
Dice, esta es una de las razones de por qué vamos a tratar esta investigación como estatal y no federal para poder implementar la cadena perpetua.
Than that. And it is the case that you have a situation where these charges that were brought in this jurisdiction, Southern District of Florida, by the federal government, they were dismissed by a federal judge, and now they're on appeal trying to get those reinstated. And they have a right to do that, but I would note to you, it was Merrick Garland who assigned a special counsel because he said there was a political issue and they wanted to appear to be above it. He was the one that did that. There really was no true conflict. If these were normal crimes, you could have done it, but they did a special counsel. And so if you did a special counsel for that, wouldn't those same concerns animate whether you're the appropriate jurisdiction? So they cannot pursue charges to the extent we can. And yes, I do think that there's a lot of concern about how these agencies have operated. And the state of Florida, I mean, you know, for us, all we're interested in is the truth. We're not involved in any of those other things that the Justice Department or FBI have been involved in. So it's better for the public and it's better for justice.
Totalmente.
Next. Yes, sir. Well, that's what the investigation, I think, will show. You know, some people say, well, how would he have known to be there? But I think those of you who've covered the former president, when he is at Mar-a-Lago on the weekends, that is the #1 place he goes. So it isn't like this was like a 1 in a million chance. On the other hand, this guy went at night, and it was not on any schedule that this was going to happen. It was more of a last-minute thing. And I don't even know that the club is open yet. I think they open in October. I know, in fact, I was talking with them a week or two ago. They did a lot of overseating. I think the course is going to be in really good shape. And he's like, you got to come down and see it. But I don't think it's even open for the members yet. So why would he have chosen now to burrow in to that? I don't know the answer to that question. Our folks are going to look to see. And here's the thing. I'm not interested in trying to like blame this person or that person. It's okay, let's just get the facts. Let's put it out for the public. Let's figure out what, I mean, this guy, I mean, you look at his rap sheet, you look at the things he's been involved in. This guy had red flags. I know he's been looked at by federal law enforcement. How the heck did it end up where he's in West Palm Beach in those bushes? And that's apart from the prosecution. People deserve the truth about that. They need to know his associations. They need to know his motivations, his ideology. And our guys are doing it. In fact, as soon as this happened, when I said investigate, I said save the social media, because what they do, Facebook will take it down and try to hide it. FDLE saved all the social media, and they've been doing that type of research. So I think it's, I think it needs to be done. But that's I have no preconceived notions on this. They're going to do it, but they're going to do a thorough job, and I think produce answers that people have confidence in. Yes. Conceived, saved all the social.
Ok, él dice algo muy importante. Ok, miren, esto me parece muy importante. Él dice que el gobernador Ron DeSantis le instruyó a la Comisión Federal del Departamento de Florida, el Florida Department Law Enforcement, la fuerza de leyes del Departamento de Florida, para poder guardar todas las redes sociales de este sujeto, ya que las redes sociales iban a eliminar la cuenta. Entonces, para más pruebas, agarraron toda la data de este sujeto de las redes sociales y la guardaron. Ya está en el Departamento de la Fuerza de Florida, porque sabían que las redes sociales como Facebook iba a eliminar cualquier información relacionada con Ryan Wesley Root. Entonces, esto fue una buena jugada que acaba de hacer el gobernador de Florida, ya que se tiene que examinar cuáles son sus ideologías políticas y sus motivaciones de por qué hizo esto.
Social media, and they've been doing that type of research. So I think it's, I think it needs to be done. But that's I have no preconceived notions on this. They're going to do it, but they're going to do a thorough job, and I think produce answers that people have confidence in. Yes. I have. So he was in good spirits. He did remark that, you know, on that sixth hole, I think he was in pretty good shape for a potential birdie. And if you know the former president, that matters a lot to him when you're talking about this. And I mean, I told him a couple weeks ago, I said, the number one thing I got from the Biden debate was people said, you know, you were very reserved, except when Biden claimed he had a 6 handicap. Then you just wouldn't accept that because you knew it wasn't true, and it isn't true. So he was in good spirits, but you know, he was a complimentary of the state of Florida taking the lead. He thought that was totally appropriate, and he encouraged us to continue doing what we're doing. So, yeah, clearly we have an interest in doing this apart from anything else, but it was great that he sees the need for what we're doing and that we're going to move forward.
Ok, señores, hasta aquí voy a dejar el video. Creo que lo más importante lo acaba de decir el gobernador Ron DeSantis, es que este caso lo van a ser tratado en Florida. No se va a permitir que este caso se transfiera al gobierno federal dado los acontecimientos que ha pasado en Pensilvania, que el servicio secreto y el FBI todavía no ha dado un resultado de lo que pasó en Pensilvania. Entonces Ron DeSantis va a buscar la manera para enjuiciar a este tipo con los mayores cargos posibles de acuerdo a la Constitución y al estado de Florida, a la cual se le pueda implementar la mayor cantidad de tiempo posible para que este señor, este tipo que ya tiene antecedentes penales, no vuelva a salir a las calles y lastimosamente quiera cometer algo como lo que hizo el pasado domingo. Amigos, déjame saber tu opinión en la barra de los comentarios. Por favor, compartamos este video con sus familiares. Si tienes un familiar, compártele este video. Si un familiar que viva en Florida, sobre lo que está pasando en este estado y lo que van a hacer con este sujeto que quería acabar con la vida del expresidente Donald Trump y candidato republicano para el 5 de noviembre. Cuídense mucho, amigos, y nos vemos en unas horas con un siguiente episodio para todos ustedes. Mi nombre es Juan Torres y me despido. Hasta luego.